So this is a video regarding Schubert again, and yeah, I think I'd like to talk about what a great repertoire it is, like repertoire, but a good number of pieces to play anyway, or repertoire if you're a proper pianist. It is to do the concert which I've seen Sokolov give. Actually, it's exactly what one of his concerts. This is the program. He's not my favourite pianist, but anyway, this is an incredibly good set of pieces. It's two sets of pieces. The first is the D899 set of impromptus by Schubert. It's his first set of impromptus, followed by his 3 Klavierstücke, D946. But even if you're not, very good at the piano, I think that all of these pieces are okay. In fact, my Beethoven and Tchaikovsky line teacher says that all 4 of these impromptus are possible for an intermediate sort of pianist. But the Klavierstücke, she said, maybe not, maybe just number 2. But I would like to suggest that number 1 is possible if you do it slowly. I mean, she said it's possible slowly, but she's the idea was, who wants to hear it slower than Allegro assai? And yeah, it doesn't sound great, but it is still possible. And the third one is, I think it's the most difficult of the 3 pieces, and it's difficult because of how you've got to move your fingers around, the shapes you've got to get. And I was actually told that by a concert pianist as well. He thinks that out of the 3, that's the most difficult, number 3. Okay, and I also wanted to talk about number 1, which my teacher, the Beethoven Tchaikovsky one, said is by far the hardest of the first set. That one is yeah, I wanted to just talk about what it represents, in my opinion. For me, that first one represents, I mean, it's so much bigger than the other 3. It seems like it's a bit of an anomaly. It's not really virtuosic in any way. It's not particularly sort of beautiful, although it has 2 conspicuously beautiful parts in it, but they're very short. And it's not really very mystical, if you want to call it that. So like number 4, it's not virtuosic like number 2. It's not on the whole beautiful like number 3, and it's not, in my opinion, got that mystical element of number 4, which by the way is not allegro, it's allegretto, so it shouldn't be played that fast like some people do. And I think that Schubert made sure there were not 2 allegro pieces, just the 1, and otherwise it would not stand out. If number 4 was supposed to be predominantly fast, I think it's predominantly mystical. That's my opinion. But coming back to number 1, I think that first of all, it's interesting, is it not, that all 4 sets of piano pieces that Schubert wrote, the Moments musicaux, the first set and the second set of impromptus, and the D946 Klavierstücke, they all take half an hour to play. Now I know that he didn't publish the Moments musicaux in his lifetime, and I know he didn't publish the 3 Klavierstücke, but 2 of the first set of impromptus were published. The other 2, number 3 and 4, didn't come out until after his death, and none of the second set of impromptus came out until after his death. But regarding the those pieces which didn't come out, I'm sure that he intended them to come out for sure. And I say that because they all take half an hour, and that's very unusual. It would be very kind of strange if he didn't want 4 sets of half-hour pieces. It seems to me definitely Schubert's intention. And regarding the Moments Musicaux, it's true that they were not all written late. I think number 6, number 6 was written in 1824, if I'm not mistaken. But it was included. So someone, I think, and the publisher was that person Liesendorf or something, Lessendorf. The person was apparently a very depressed person. That's what both Beethoven says about him and Schubert says about him. Or he's got some name like that. Dorf, something Dorf. He was the publisher anyway of those Moments Musicaux. He brought them together as a group of 6 pieces after Schubert's death. So I think that he must have been in discussion with Schubert, and Schubert would have told him, yes, I want at some point these 6 to go together because they take half an hour, just like my 2 sets of impromptus do, and don't you know, the 3 Klavierstücke that I've just written. If he'd said that to this Lessendorf, or whatever his name is, if he said that at least after he had written them, if he met him in 1828, then I'm not sure, but it seemed probable. So I think that's why this publisher, Lessendorf we'll call him, published those 6 pieces, because he knew that Schubert did want them published, including that 6th one from 1824. And it goes very well as well. You know, it's a very soft one. The one before it was very vigorous. The one before that was kind of vigorous enough, and or maybe it's the other way around. The 5th one is quite vigorous, and number 4 is very vigorous. Number 3 is that famous little sort of it's a bit like a a bit like a sort of jilting, a little bit like a waltz or something like that. And then number 2 is a sort of barren, terrifying, typically Schubertian piece. It reminds me of the slow movement of the D959 sonata. It's an incredible piece, and the first piece is full of imagery of the countryside and things like that, to my mind anyway. They all go together, they complement each other, they contrast, is my point, between each one. Soft and slow, light and dark, and actually in this book by Fischer-Dieskau he makes a lot about Schubert's use of contrasts. I mean, amongst other things, he says that really he was the first one to really use the minor and major contrast in a fundamentally groundbreaking way in the Lieder, which hadn't been done before, and light and dark, but the major and minor tonalities. Not that the major tonality always means something positive or hopeful, and vice versa, the minor tonality does not always mean something negative. But yeah, so and that's just an incidental observation about Schubert, which Fischer-Dieskau mentions. So yeah, I was talking about the Moments Musicaux and how they complement each other or contrast because of their contrasts and things, and including the major, minor, soft, loud, black, white, dark, light, that sort of thing. For me, they're a definite set which I think Schubert approved of, along with the others. So now I just want to finish this video with my recommendation how to go about number 3. I've been saying for a long time that I think that you should start with the beginning of a piece and then join it up to the very end, because that gives you like a piece to play, even though you're missing out maybe the majority of it being the middle between the beginning and the end, but it still sounds like a sort of finished thing. So this is how I'm doing that again with this number 3, and I'm doing it also with number 1, because they're the two pieces of the number 1 of D899. They're the two pieces I haven't yet finished, and because when I finish them, then I will have this hopefully this repertoire of the first 4 impromptus and then the 3 Klavierstücke, which are, I think, a real joy to play, and they should sound good if they're played correctly. Okay, so this third piece of the Klavierstücke is difficult. I would recommend playing it particularly hard and particularly slowly, particularly staccato. I know that that's the usual advice to give, but definitely for this piece, 'cause it is difficult. It's confusing and all that. But this is how far I've got. Beginning, a little bit of the beautiful, beautiful middle section, and the end bit. There we go. And I'll be trying to bring out this staccato and this slowness as I do it. Not for the middle section, but for the beginning and the end bit. So here it goes this. And again, oh, I would recommend going like this, yeah? Really pronouncing them and doing staccato, of course. That's right. As you can see, it's actually quite confusing and annoying. But let me try to do that again. Please bear with me. Okay. Try doing that again.